Hello, and welcome back to another Pen Talk. Thank you very much for joining me as I continue to explore this amazing, incredible wide world of pens that we're very fortunate to be able to participate in. And yes, you see two pens rotating on a turntable that you probably never expected to see. Again, we're going back to iconic American pen makers and some of their interesting pen models. Hopefully you recognize this one, Parker 45, but I enjoy the brushed stainless steel and the gold colored accents. And here we have a Cross Century 2 in rolled gold. Both of these pens have sat in boxes for many, many years. And what you see is the unrestored look of these pens, and I think they both look very good. From close examination, the 45 looks like it's definitely had a rougher life than the Cross Century 2, but it's a patina. These things are writing instruments meant to be used. So we're going to dive into these, talk a little bit about history, and obviously put some nibs on paper and see how they write, how they feel in the hand. It's a trip down memory lane for some of us. So let's start with the Cross Century 2. Classic, iconic design that Cross has used for many, many years. This pen was introduced in the mid-90s. Of course, it's larger than the Century. We'll compare that a little bit later. But Cross is good at identifying the pen and what materials it's made from. So this is 1/20th gold filled, which means 1/20th the weight of this material is gold. And like I said, this is unrestored, untouched, not polished or whatever. Very functional clip. The cap pops off relatively easily. I think that was the way it was designed. And we'll see a nice 14 karat fine nib. A nice feed there on the back. Certainly very classic Cross look. And the pen feels okay in the hand. I mean, I like the touch of gold, and that section, of course, is a plastic section, very tactile, works well, and it's also a very narrow section, but this is a small, thin pen. And there's a nice liner in the cap, so we can afford to post it, and it posts great. Very deep, very secure, and this is definitely a good looker in the hand. So we would expect, based on when this pen was made, that the barrel unscrews and we'll see a cross converter, one that they've been using for a long time. Like I mentioned before, I think they're a little wonky. They do the job most of the time. So this Parker 45 is the model with the brushed stainless steel cap and barrel and gold tassels at the top of the cap and bottom of the barrel. You know, this is the one with the little dimple in it, so that pretty much dates it. I think this is probably from the late 70s, early 80s. If we look at the back, we'll see it says made in France. There's no date codes, but Parker didn't put date codes on this for most of its life. And again, this is an unrestored pen that's been sitting around for a long time. And it also just pops off in about the same amount of effort. Yeah, it feels like the Parker 51, which started this whole type of cap design. We'll see a nice long section and a steel nib. And they were good at branding the back of it. It's a B for broad. It looks like a very thin broad nib, but we'll see how it lays down ink. And the Parker 45 is a classic. It feels great in the hand. I mean, you can put your fingers anywhere on that section. And like we would expect based on looking at this design, it posts very deep, very secure. It is another handsome looking pen in your hand and feels good. The weight distribution is great in both of these pens. They're writing pens, pens to encourage you to put nib down. So again, based on the time frame and the type of pen that it is, we unscrew the barrel and we'll find a converter. This is one that I put in here. I don't think it's the one that actually came with the pen, but it's the one that we'll use to ink it up. There's a plastic liner in there that matches up to the plastic threads on the section. Again, classic design, well executed. It's a keeper. So I enjoy exploring packaging and keeping pens in their package. Every pen I've bought, at least in the past couple decades, I've saved the packaging. Yes, it takes up a lot of room. But this is just a plain box. I don't think it's the box the pen came in, because it says Made in USA on the back. And the lid is just placed on there. It comes off, and there's the pen. A nice little velvet cushion, little elastic string there, which has lost most of its elasticity, but certainly identifies it as a Parker. And you can use it as a place to keep your pen on the desk if you want. So I have this cross box that the pen was in. If we look at the end thing, we'll see it's bought in Harrods for 85 pounds. A lot of money back in those days. But this is Century fountain pen green. I have no idea where this actual pen may have ended up, if this is the box that the pen was in. As I mentioned a couple times, I used to go to London a lot. I'd always go to Harrods' pen department in the basement, and they would have pens a lot of times heavily discounted to move inventory. This is a nice box, nice spring-loaded top there, and you open it up and you'll see, again, identified, nice bed, fountain pen. And this is not the label that goes with the pen, but it's one that was in the box. So like I said, Harrods could have just put this together to get rid of and sell the pen. And it's obviously, read the instruction booklet. So this one comes up, and we'll see inside a nice booklet. And I don't know what this thing is. It was in the box. If anybody recognizes it, let me know. Here's the converter. I'm assuming cartridges were here. And it has this nice booklet. We talked about Sheaffer's booklet in previous video. And here's do's and don'ts and a whole bunch of nice little information for pen users, be they new or be they experienced. Don't use drawing ink. And it shows you the different construction methods, and it comes in a couple of different nib sizes. You know, cleaning your pen, cross converter. So this is really well done and gives you a lifetime of information, and there's a lifetime warranty with the pen. And here's something interesting. Writing feels scratchy. Tells you need to break in the nib. Fast efficient service. And here's where they list all the pen stores that you could use to take your pen to. And it's broken down by state. For those of you that live in these states, I wonder how many of these pen stores are still around. I know a lot of them in New York have closed. And here's the perpetual warranty guarantee. Again, it's a upscale pen. You can order cartridges from Cross. I think we need to look at some other Century pens from Cross. This is the pencil version. So all these three are 1/20th gold filled, some 10 karat, some 14 karat. The pencil is 14 karat, which I assume this is an older model. It's hard to get a date code on any of these. They all have something on the top of the cap that identifies it as a cross, materials, and made in USA. So the first century pencil was 1946, and then in 1953 they came out with the ballpoint. And this has an original cross refill in it that says Providence, Rhode Island, so it's probably 20 plus years old, and it writes just as well as it did day one. You twist the cap to extract the ballpoint. Very smooth operation. Cross, I think, was good from a mechanical engineering viewpoint. All of their products are extremely well made. Fit and finish is excellent. And then we have the Century 2, which is similar to the Century in its design. It's just a little bit more girth. You can see that the clip is longer. The same identification right there underneath of that black finial at the cap. You go back to the bottom and you'll see it's kind of plain. But these all have those vertical stripes in them and a nice cross embossed in the clip. So, you know, it's an iconic design. It's been around for 80 plus years. Cross has worked on it, refined it, and brought out the Townsend. Here's one example of it. I have a link to the lapis and jade Townsend that I reviewed, which I refer you to because I go into a lot more depth there. Again, a pop-off cap, a really nicely engraved nib, that little metal piece at the end of the section. Section is very comfortable, no step up. This pen was an everyday carry for me for a while, but it's a heavy pen, and having it in your shirt pocket just didn't work well. This is Cross's top-of-the-line pen now, the Peerless, and I have a full review of this for those that want to go into more depth. And again, some common elements there with that finial at the top of the cap with the little jewel in it. And again, at the end, another type of finial. This is an unscrew cap, and we'll see a beautiful gold nib. So Cross has always been good at putting excellent nibs on their pens. 125 anniversary year, and a great cross in the clip. So that's our little adventure into Cross history. Both of these pens write excellently. They exceeded my expectations, and I had pretty high expectations. The Parker Broad Nib is more like a generous medium. Very, very smooth, almost no feedback. It's a pleasure to write with. The Cross Century 2, which is a fine 14 karat nib, definitely gives you more feedback. It feels good on the paper, but a different feel than the broad nib in the 45. So if you like super smooth, the 45 broad nib would work. If you like some pencil-like feedback, like a Sailor maybe, then the Cross Century provides that. Both of them have a fairly generous ink flow, And of course, the same Pilot Blue Black ink in both of them. So I just wanted to do a comparison here with some previous pens I reviewed that come from a similar time frame to the Cross Century. As you can see, this is considered a medium nib, and this is almost the same line width, certainly thicker than the Prelude medium nib. And the Parker 45 Broad is actually not as wide a line from this Cross Beverly medium nib. All of these, again, have the same Pilot Blue Black ink, so you get to compare apples to apples. So this is kind of another little throwback video. And yes, I have many, many pens like this in my collection, stashed away in various locations. So I could keep doing videos like this until something freezes over. But you may ask, well, if I like these pens, what's available in the market today? Well, obviously the used market. You could go to the Cross website and look at their Century 2 models, and there's a ton of them. I didn't find any of the gold-filled ones, but if you look at the used market, you can see them, and they're priced, I think, relatively well. The Parker 45, you're not going to find anything in the new market, that's for certain. Maybe new in box, but you would take some looking. But I did find a number of used examples of the pen, and you're going to have different nib sizes. You know, the broad nib, I think, is more of a harder to find, but we know they make them because I have one here. So I enjoy both of these pens for what they have. If I was to pick one, I would definitely go with the Cross Century 2 because I really like the feel of the pen, and I like the nib. And yes, I normally like broader nibs, but the Cross holds its own as far as a nice dense line goes and putting down a decent amount of ink. And I just like the look of the Cross Classic. I mean, they've been around for decades and decades, and Cross as a pen maker has been around for a century and a half, so take your pick. But both of them, I think, are excellent examples of great writing instruments, well made, work as advertised, and could bring a smile to your face if you had one in your hand. I hope this video found everyone safe, healthy, and happy, enjoying your pens, be they new, be they old, be they borrowed, be they not borrowed. Thank you all for watching, and we'll say bye-bye. I gotta look around to see what might be next.